Hey, everybody, it's Mike Portnoy here, hanging with my boys Tom and Zeus right here on Shout It Out Loudcast.
Oh, boy. Here we go. This is Gene Simmons. Put that cookie down, Kiss. Stop pressing the button. Stockbroker Simmons. Star? Stanley. Is that what he does? Stop shouting. He's not what you would call a handsome man. Oh, no, here come the kiss times. Is that a positive thing? Okay. All right. I'm going to grab me an ice cold mellow yellow. Why? Why do that to the fan? Stop it. Why? Because fuck them. That's what I'm talking about. 617-525-0850. You do? Hey, fucko. Do you like Kiss? Settle down.
Hello. Hey, what's up there, Kiss Army? Tom and Zeus, another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast, episode 225, Russell Peters. Peter!
Yeah, dude, a lot of people might be saying, why is Russell Peters on Shout It Out Loudcast? Well, because we found out he's a big, giant Kiss fan, and he is also a world-renowned stand-up comedian, so very, very excited to get this amazing guest on the show, and he was a riot. You guys are going to love the interview.
Yeah, it's not just one of those cliche kind of answers. This is actually hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got a lot of good stories, so we can't wait to get into it. But as always, before we go forward, we go back. And last week we did Lick It Up, the tour. We did a tour episode, Tom, and we did a poll. And how'd that go?
Yep. So talking about the Lick It Up tour, of course, we talked about the set list. So the poll was, which of these songs that were played on the Lick It Up tour would you like to see added to the End of the Road tour, even though it's never going to happen? That wasn't part of the poll, but I just said that. Fits Like a Glove, Gimme More, All Hell's Breaking Loose, and Young and Wasted. No surprise, All Hell's Breaking Loose ran away with the poll at 51%. Fits Like a Glove at 23, Young and Wasted at 21, and for some reason, 4% of you out there want to hear Gimme More. I don't know why, but that's okay. Our buddy Steve brings up an interesting point. I've heard some people talk about this before. He says, for some reason, I don't think Makeup Kiss playing non-Makeup Kiss works. Out of these, Fits Like a Glove would probably work the best, although who wouldn't love to see Paul rapping on All Hell's Breaking Loose? We've talked about that before, haven't we? Kind of like them singing Heaven's on Fire on the End of the Road.
It doesn't work as well. Yeah.
Aksar Ben Knights. It looks like it's a sports team or something. Young and Wasted would sound as good without Eric Carr. Probably. Yeah. I don't mind. Look, for all the shit we give Eric Singer, he does have a good voice. He actually has a great voice. I just don't like the fact that they don't let Gene sing it live like they did on the album, but that's a separate story. Solar Garlic says, great episode. I just listened to the Albuquerque January 1984 show. It's a soundboard on YouTube, and it's interesting to hear the dynamic and the tone from Vinny. What's interesting is Paul mentioning how few there were in attendance. You guys nailed it with this episode, as always. Thank you, Solar Garlic. And that's good stuff for Twitter. What do we got on Facebook?
All right. On the Book of Face, Ryan, Michael, Kulick, Lane, Rodham, Clinton, Tweed, Simmons, Scott. I really enjoy the tour episode. Super interesting. I think Gene looked bad during this era. Imagine Ace and Peter in that flamboyant, colorful 80s Kiss attire and makeup. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Good one. Yep.
Hooked on Sonic's podcast.
Nice. Great
awesome
name.
Episode, guys. This era is interesting because there's not a lot of footage from his tour, except for some blurry-ass video from Spain. Kind of like he is silent tour, not a lot of good video out there either. And Bean, can't wait to watch Winterland and Extreme Close-Up. Thanks for the recommends.
Yes, awesome.
Kyle Schneider, this tour, I didn't see it live, is great. Why? 6 songs performed from the album.
Yep.
Exciter, Lick It Up, Young and Wasted, Gimme More, All Hell's Breaking Loose, and Fits Like a Glove. Ronnie Bacharski, cool episode. You guys make me laugh consistently. I dig the Lick It Up era, but their outfits suck all of my balls. Oh, man. All right. On the Loudcasters page, Joey Romanek.
You mean America's favorite realtor? Although some of his comments lately, he might be America's least favorite realtor if he keeps this up on Loudcasters.
His wife, he's married to America's favorite realtor.
Oh, so you're saying he's riding the coattails of America's
Oh, absolutely.
Interesting. Okay, wow.
She's the brains behind that realty empire.
Wow. Well, I can't wait. We can't wait for feedback on this episode.
Although we got to give him some props. He did bump up to a demon tier. Oh, and that goes because we had our demon tier live video chat last week. That was a lot of fun. And thank you for all that were able to join. And I think Joey's joining now and bumped up his tier so he could be part of it.
Oh, God. We'll see. We'll see if we allow him.
Yeah. This era is real strange for Kiss. And some of the jams they were putting in the set list are weird as fuck. Although it would be kind of cool to hear Paul sing Black Diamond, are we sure that Lizzie Borden has played in front of 1,500 people in all their concerts put together?
That's a great point.
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually accurate as well.
Oh.
And then John Tooley says, always love the live shots from this tour, but not so much publicity shots taken in bathrooms and closets. He's right. They're always in like some sort of like toiletry area or something.
It's like they're in like the LeConte rink men's room. Like, just what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yes. Over on our Instagram page, Eric Salmon, Patreon member there. You guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
On our YouTube page, Mike Brewer adds, they hired Chris and Cusano Landscaping to do the leaves in fall of 84. No, that's not nice. Mr. Antonio says, who can forget the Lick It Up tour when Kiss, prior to a show in Finland, were eating soup together and Vinny dropped his leftovers back into the pot, thus giving future inspiration to No Soup for You Seinfeld episode. I don't know what he's talking about, but okay.
Okay.
Okay. Our buddy Marty White. In my extensive research into Kiss over the years, I learned about a meeting a few hours before they went stage for the first time without makeup. They considered delaying for an hour to put Vinny back into his makeup. Then they realized he looked foolish either way. And that's what I got, Tom. Over to you, buddy.
All right, let's wrap up with a couple emails here. Our buddy Mike H. You spoke of having deep nuggets in the set list. As fans, we long for those days. I remember the Hot in the Shade tour and all those great songs they dusted off. You mentioned that they're being lazy by having the same old songs. Sadly, it's no longer about playing what they want. It's more about playing what they can, in my opinion. I guess it can be seen as lazy because they're not even trying, but they're coasting on cruise control, heading into obscurity, and there's no turning back. Uh-oh. Mike H., that's hate mail. Damn. No, it's true. It's probably just they're just playing what they can. It's no one's. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. Our buddy Angelo Capasso, The Tank and the Stairs on the Side of the Stage, March 1st, 1984, New Haven Coliseum. Forever, I couldn't remember what tour I went to. On the back of the shirt, it said, "If it's too loud, you're too old." Okay, Kiss. Okay. Fucking relax. Jesus.
Okay, Gene.
I was still loving Ace and Peter. It was weird seeing them not there. Lots of fans were yelling. Peter and Eric was so respectfully thumbs up the crowd when people yelled for Peter. Being a drummer, I was blown away by Eric. I couldn't deny his talent. He won me over in the crowd over. It was weird seeing Gene with blood and no makeup. When you looked at the Kiss logo, it burned into your retina. One more thing I recall, Eric literally slipping down the stairs, almost falling on his face, but he caught himself just in time. Thanks for the review. Brought back some great memories. Very nice. We have one this is from our website, shoutoutloudcast.com. You can send us messages directly. We get them in the form of an email. This is from Carl Wangloff. He says, I went to it's spelled Gothenburg, but I think it's pronounced like Gothenburg. He said Helix. Helix was too drunk, so they didn't play. So the 4 dudes that ran out on stage ended up being Kiss. I loved Exciter and Young and Wasted. Starting the concert with Creatures of the Night was magic. So Helix was so drunk they didn't even play. Oh, man.
Great.
Our buddy, Yanni Aslak Rasanen. When they played my hometown of Oulu for the first, and to this day, the only time, it was 20 below degrees outside the hockey arena, exceptionally cold for November. The attendance was about 3,000 people, and the tiny arena was supposedly sold out since all the people couldn't get in. My friend who was supervising the house mixing console told me the people outside, they all got angry and broke some windows. So the inside of the venue ended up getting really cold.
Oh, no.
Opening acts were Helix and Riff Raff. What are you talking about? Riff Raff. Headlining Monsters of Rock. Fucking their third album's the best.
On the next Monsters of Rock cruise.
And then he just continues, tells a great story about Finland and everything. We love hearing from our Finnish roving reporter.
Yeah, but why
Yanni.
did you guys get rid of my fucking girlfriend there as the prime minister? You got to fucking fix that. You got to fix that.
That's right. Our buddy West Beach chimes in. He says he was at the Radio City Music Hall show in New York. They had just come off recording Wendy's Wow solo album, and they went to the show as a band. He said Kiss was great, high energy, was almost metal. There was a bit of an awkward moment. We found ourselves alone in an elevator with Paul, who was not particularly fond of Wendy or our band. After exchanging hellos, it was a silent ride to the after show area.
Was it a silent but deadly one?
By the way, did you see somebody tagged us in that article on Twitter about some kids suspended for using fart spray at school?
Yes, I know.
Love it. All right, let's wrap up our feedback and our emails with this. This comes from James Thompson. Great episode this week, per usual. It actually made me sit back and appreciate Paul Stanley a little bit more. Here's why. We all know what a tireless egomaniac he is. His feelings are more delicate than a Fabergé egg. Can you even imagine the drive and persistence it took for him to carry the band on after the Lick It Up tour? 5 years before that, they were selling out Madison Square Garden, seeing packed venues across the world. In 1983, they made a last-ditch effort to stay relevant by ditching their main gimmick, and they were rewarded by playing to crowds of 1,400 people. On top of that, he was dealing with an insane guitar player that he didn't have a replacement for, a bass player who was more interested in cameos on Miami Vice than he was learning album lyrics. But despite all this, Paul kept moving Kiss forward without relying on the nostalgia for 13 more years, while giving us some of the best music and most prolific tours in the band's history. It would have been easy to pull the plug in 1984 and pursue other musical interests, but Paul kept Kiss going and returned them to relevancy. I am not usually a Paul defender, but this episode reminded me that Kiss as we know it would not exist if it was left in Gene's hands. Now, James, usually we reserve comment of the week for guys that say something kind of funny or crazy, but your email, very, very, very thoughtful, well said. And we appreciate that because we don't have a lot of thoughtful people on this show every once in a while. But James Thompson, seriously, buddy, great email. And for that, you are the comment of the week.
Good answer. Good answer. I like the way you think. I'm going to be watching you.
Thanks, James. And speaking of thank yous, we need to thank our Patreon family. And as usual, we have a new member to thank, and that's our longtime listener, Daniel Peoples. Daniel just joined us as a spaceman. Daniel, thank you so much for coming on and joining the family. Patreon members, we can't thank you guys enough. We say it every week, how much help you guys give the show. Right now we're still at our highest. Every time we think we can't get higher, we get higher. Come on in, join the fun. You can talk to the guys on the Demon tier who just had a blast on our live video chat. You have other stuff you get when you join our Patreon family. There's merch, there's input. Coming up shortly now will be the Patreon pick for Album Review Crew. That's coming up because the next pick is mine, and then we go to you guys. So that is something you guys can join. And there's other involvement in the show as well. More importantly, you help us And that's what Patreon does. It helps Shout It Out Loudcast. If you want to figure out a way to help the show continue to see us grow and get bigger and better guests like the great Russell Peters, contribute to our Patreon page, please. Patreon, you can find if you go to our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com. It's right there when you get to the landing page. There's an icon. You click on that. Take a look, see if anything interests you, and hopefully you'll join and help us out. And again, thank you, Daniel, and thank you to the Patreon family.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are the best. Thanks again for all the Demon guys for joining us last week on our Zoom chat. It was great, as always. And huge thanks to everybody, but especially to Daniel Peoples. Daniel, we know you've been very interactive with us on social media, so nice to see you part of Patreon. We appreciate it very much. And to everybody else out there, much, much gratitude. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you, and keep the love coming on our Patreon page. Guys, the next thing we do is we go over to Kiss World. Anything going on there?
A couple anniversaries, celebrating Dynasty Alive 3 last week. They dropped some new merch, of course, colored vinyl. Who doesn't love that? Our buddy Bruce put out a great video. Hey, guys, Alive 3. What a recording. Revenge tour. Amazing. We love that. And right now, on the day of this recording, they are getting ready to perform at the Sonic Temple Festival in Columbus, Ohio. And other than that, not much. Kind of quiet, except for Paul taking pictures of pasta and drinking wine and Renaissance Man 101 bullshit.
They did announce one big thing, though, Tom, you didn't get to, and that is they announced that they're going to be performing one more show in Australia.
Ah, yes, that's right. That's
so
right.
For all our friends down under,
yep.
I hope you guys enjoy it, and the tickets for that should probably go pretty fast if it's one more show.
Yeah.
I hope you guys can go and watch it and see it and enjoy Kiss for one more time. But other than that, it's the same old. Tour is going to be continuing and stuff and counting down to get to the end of the year in New York. So
that's right.
Anyway.
Yep.
All right. So, okay, Tom, give me one moment. I'm going to go grab one of my new bathing suits I wear so you can look at my legs that are just so in fashion for the summer season coming up.
All right, we're back. And while Ace was checking out his swim trunks, I had to get him fitted for those arm floaties because really not comfortable with my ability to swim in deep water. So I like those floaties. They're the kind that Eric wears when he's swimming in the kids' pool.
I just hope my wig doesn't fall off when I land in the pool. Holy shit. Well, Tom, a while back, I saw a video and we talked about it when we interviewed with him of Bryan Adams playing acoustic guitar and now good friend Russell Peters, the world-renowned comedian, busting out War Machine. I'm like, that's a Kiss fan. He ain't busting out Rock and Roll All Night and Shout It Out Loud. He's busting out War Machine. And we were lucky to get him, and we got almost a good hour with him. And I think we could have went on longer, but we had to wrap it up.
Yeah, it was great. He was hilarious. Always, I mean, he's a comedian, but he had some interesting, hilarious stories, touched on some hot button topics that get brought up every once in a while. So you guys hold on for this one. This is amazing.
Without further ado, Russell Peters.
All right. Shout It Out Loudcast this week has a spectacular, superb guest. One of the world's biggest comedians is here with us right now. You've probably seen him on Netflix. You've probably seen him on Amazon. Maybe you've been lucky enough to see him in person. He's a perfect guest for this show because some people think he's filthy. Some people think he's offensive. And he's a Kiss fan. So what better place to be than Shout It Out Loudcast? The amazing Russell Peters is here.
Hi, kids.
What's going on, buddy? Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. I know, it's funny is people think of me as a big hip hop head, right? Because that's what I'm known for, because I've produced documentaries about hip hop.
Which, by the way, we've talked about on this show. Hip hop evolution is spectacular. We've talked about it on this show. Yes.
Thanks. Yeah. So there's that. And then people don't know that I was a big little, first of all, I was a huge guy. Before I say any music, I was a Kiss fan before I was anything.
Nice.
That's kind of what shaped me, because when I got Love Gun in 1977, I was still about 6.5 when I bought it. I was in the record store. I looked at it and I said to my dad, "Can I get that?" And he got it for me. And I remember I was sitting down and I would have the headphones on because you weren't allowed to play the music. You had you had the one big long stereo in the house. So, my mom walked in. My wife walked in on the phone. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
All good.
It's okay. You're a popular guy.
Brought me my coffee.
There you go.
me and my mom on.
Oh, that's a nice mug.
So I remember not just the first time, but every single time that album would start, "I Stole Your Love" was the first song on side A.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I'd have the headphones on. I'd be sitting on the carpet, and you'd have to wait for the record to drop.
Yeah.
And then you'd hear it, and then the needle would hit. You'd hear the needle hit the record, but I would still get scared every single time because the way it would fucking bam. I was like, every time I would jump.
So but before Zeus we're gonna do a couple questions every time we have a guest on here, but I don't want to lose track of this conversation very quickly. So you said you're in the record store and you asked your dad if you could get Love Gun.
Right. He didn't know what it was.
Can you please do the impression of your dad reacting to you asking for Love Gun?
"Dad, can I get this record? Ooh, this clown music. They're listening to clown music." "Yeah, that's clowns. I think it's clown music." "Okay, get it. Yeah, for kids. It's for kids." I go, "Yeah, it's for kids. It's for kids." Love Gun. And then he caught on real quick after, right? Because every time I go to a record store, I'd want a Kiss record. And then I remember one time he was like, "You can have a record. There's no Kiss, no bloody Kiss." And I go, and I tried to trick him. I picked up double platinum.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Because it only said double platinum on it.
It's all silver, yeah.
Yeah, and the Kiss was embossed on it, but he still saw the Kiss. He goes, "No, it's bloody Kiss." So I think I might have ended up with this. Here's how I bet it. I ended up with like the Knack.
Lucky you.
Yeah, Get the Knack. Remember that?
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
It was only good for one song, but
My Sharona.
Right? That's it. That's about it. Yep.
So it's funny you say that because I'm first generation too. So my parents are Greek, and that's one of the things I always found. I found you. I think that was the first way I found you was some YouTube video. You were tooling on some hairy Greek guy with his arms. You were talking about whether that was his shirt or his hairy arms. And you're like, "Are you Italian? Are you Greek? Which one are you?" And then you started spitting out some perfectly pronounced Greek words. And I'm like, "Peters, is he Greek?" And he cut it. And like, that ends with an S. It's Greek. And I just got into your comedy then. And then what really got us thinking about this was the video. And we were talking about it before we got on the air. Is there was a video out recently. It's been floating around Kiss circles and YouTube of you with Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams, I don't know if it's behind, like backstage at one of his concerts. He's got an acoustic guitar. He's playing War Machine, but you're singing it.
Yeah. So Bryan Adams and I were hosting the Juno Awards in 2017 in Canada. The Juno Awards are like the Canadian Grammys.
Yep. Okay.
Only not the Grammys. And so that year in 2017, Michael Bublé was supposed to be hosting it, and he's a good friend of both of ours. And his son was sick at the time, so they asked if I would host. They asked Bryan Adams. He said yeah, and then he said only if you give me a co-host. And then Bryan said, "How about Russell Peters?" So me and Bryan hosted it together. And he's a really awesomely cool guy. Mm-hmm. And I walked into his dressing room and I go, "Hey, Bryan." Well, no, we're in rehearsal and we're on stage. And I go, hey man, did you write War Machine for Kiss? He goes, yeah. And I go, oh, that's so fucking cool. That's like one of the better songs on. I mean, the whole Creatures of the Night album was really good anyway, but it was one of my favorites on that album. And he told me about some other songs he wrote, but I was just too geeked on War Machine. And then I was sitting in my dressing room. He just walked in my room with an acoustic guitar playing it.
Oh,
and
that's
then I just started singing it. That's just how it happened. And I sat on that video for years, you know. I showed it to Craig Gass because he was opening for me.
Yep.
In March in Australia.
Yeah,
and he goes,
Craig.
bro, can you send me that? So I sent it to him. And then he goes, I'm going to send it to Gene. I go, sure, send it to Gene. And then Gene was like, hey, can I post this? I'm like, hell yeah, you can post it. So the video is actually 6 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But it's so cool. It's funny. You're like, yeah, I know. I've written about, I don't know, a couple million selling singles and albums and stuff. But you want me to sing the song that I wrote for Kiss?
Yeah,
exactly.
Did you ever hear the story on that too?
I'm like, you know, what's funny is I met Michael McDonald one day, and I was like, hey man, isn't that you singing backup on Do It Again? Steely Dan?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Oh. He goes, oh, you really dug deep. I go, I don't know why that's the only thing. All the stuff you've done, that's the one that sticks in my head.
Oh, yeah. Michael McDonald doing Steely Dan backup is just magic. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you? Yeah. I was saying, do you ever hear the story of Gene in that song, War Machine? Like they had it written, and Gene, to get writer's credit, was saying to them, "It needs another verse," and so he put another verse in purposely.
What was the verse that he did?
I think it was the third one that he added to it. It's not done. You don't understand. And they're like, what are you talking about? It's complete. No.
Which is ironic because it's probably the verse he always messes up when they perform War Machine live. But that's okay.
Because he's looking for Vinny. Where's Vinny?
No one knows where he is.
No one's looking for Vinny.
Yeah. Well, Vinny's gone. I think it's Vincenzo now.
There you go.
Vinny's at the pet cemetery, unfortunately, if you know that story. So we ask a bunch of questions. There are usually Kiss members, Kiss songs, things like that. We call them the Murph questions. First one to you, sir. Who's your favorite Kiss member? And all these questions, you can say it used to be so-and-so. It can be this now, whatever. Just favorite Kiss member.
Well, it was always Ace.
Mm-hmm.
And I might be one of the only. I loved Eric Carr.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I loved, obviously I love Peter and, you know, the whole original lineup. But when Eric came in, I didn't feel violated by it.
It's a good way to put it.
A lot of people do. Yeah.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I felt violated by Mark St. John and violated by Bruce Kulick. And I feel violated by Tommy Thayer. Yep. You know, but with Eric, I was like, okay, I dig this. And I think because they gave him his own original makeup.
Exactly, yeah.
With Vinny, even though Vinny came in, at least he had original makeup, it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
You know? But it's funny if you watch those videos online, if you see when Vinny was part of, what's that guy's name? He was part of the band. Dan Hartman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
He's in the instant replay video.
Yeah.
Instant replay.
Is that when he has that mustache too that looks bigger than him?
It was a disco song, so it's even funnier to see this shredder in this disco song.
Oh, brutal.
Terrible. Do you have a favorite Kiss song?
Me, you know, I have a few.
Okay.
There's parts of songs that I like the beginning of Making Love.
Oh yeah.
I love that. I love Got Love for Sale.
Oh,
you know,
yes.
I'll never hear the end of it now.
Yes. I love Got Bam, 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 bam.
One of the most underrated tracks they've ever made. Yep.
And they've never performed it live. I searched all over. Never performed live.
Nope.
And it's weird that it's not. It's a Gene song. They could have performed that live.
Oh, I agree.
Maybe on one of the Kiss cruises, even. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be.
We've been on two cruises. They never played it when we were there. So
really,
yeah.
I want to go on the cruises. I want to go on the cruises, but it's full of losers that look like us, and I do not.
It's true. It is. It's full of losers that are listening to our show right now.
Listen, and here's the best part: like I could be amongst all these losers and have everything in common with you.
Exactly. That's why we do this.
Yeah, there's Kiss.
It's so funny because
everything.
like Kiss fans are like it's everything is niche, you know. Like I've been doing comedy for 34 years, and yes, I know all the comics, and I'm friends with the most, everybody. But like when I'm hanging out, it's either fighters, DJs, rappers. And then if I had Kiss friends, like it would be a Kiss group. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We're the only ones that understand this thing.
It's true.
When people like, isn't Kiss a good band? I go, they're not really, but I have a lot of good memories to them.
Right. When we explain to people that we have a Kiss podcast, they're like, how do you have almost 250 episodes talking about Kiss? We're like, just listen. Believe me, we can make it happen.
Yeah. It's easy.
I remember in grades, it must have been like maybe 3rd or 4th grade. We had to bring in a record to school pick any song off of it and explain why we like the song. So I think I brought in Dress to Kill, and I played, and I don't know, out of all the songs, I played Anything for My Baby.
Oh, nice. Wow. Okay.
And they were like, why do you like this song? I go, I don't know. I just do.
That's good enough.
I picked the dumbest song on the album, though.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Why did you? I'm like, because I don't know.
That's about it.
On that, it was a Parasite on Hotter Than Hell.
Parasite's on Harder Than Hell. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about as sophisticated as you're going to get, though, Russell. When you're talking about Kiss, I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
It's not going to get much. There's no more nuance than that. We just did the evening with Gene. We had dinner with him in Vegas.
Yeah, we spent 2 weeks ago.
He was telling people I was supposed to be there.
No, that would have been so sweet.
Oh, that would have been great. Yeah.
So they had asked me if I would be able to go to that weekend, and I was like, sure. And then the girl connecting with me was like, hey, can I call you now? I'm like, I was at Joe Rogan's club working that week, and I go, don't call me now. I'm in the middle of something. And she's like, okay. I go, call me. And she never called me back. And then it just never happened. But then one of my friends was in Vegas that week, and he goes, hey, bro, are you in Vegas? I go, what? No. But Gene Simmons says you're going to be here tonight. I'm like, what?
Oh, shit. That was a good weekend. It was fun. It was a fun time.
And then, it was fun. You randomly, your Canadian brother Jericho showed up, and we're friends with him. So Chris? He made a late night. Yeah, he made a late night appearance too. Nice. Next thing you know, it's like 3 a.m. We're all getting thrown out. It was a surreal night for us. It was really awesome.
I've had some really like because people like when you're a Kiss fan, you know, like you seem to know every detail about the group, personal detail, we know all the dumbest, weirdest things about them.
Yeah.
And because you're a fan, you never think you're going to meet them. Like they're like these superheroes, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then years ago, I got invited to Gene's house because he wanted to do some business with me.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And of course, he calls me into his office, which is also the museum there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he knows I'm a big Kiss fan, so he's trying to talk business with me, and I'm just the whole day. I'm looking
at everything.
For sure, Gene. Yeah, of course. I'm like, there's the boots against. I'm like, those are the boots. And, and I'm seeing the pinball machine. I'm thinking, is he going to give me something? And then I realized, no, it's Gene. He's not going to give you anything. So we're in a meeting to pitch the show, right? And Gene's sitting right beside me, and they go, well, what are your thoughts on the show, Gene? And he goes, well, and I go, believe in me.
Oh, no.
And everyone in the meeting goes, what? And then Gene smiles and goes, it's one of my songs. And then he starts singing, don't want no right there.
No.
And I'm like, yeah.
Oh my God!
You got him to sing "I."
That right there is a feat. What was it? What was the show? What was the show that you guys were talking about? What was
I don't even remember. I just know that my agent was like, "You're not doing a show with Gene." And my agent was his agent too, and I was like, "No." He goes, "You're not going to get any money."
Oh, I got you. Okay.
You could do the show, and there will be money. You just won't get any of it.
You will pay me to be on your show.
Yep, exactly.
Right. Well, all right. How about Kiss album?
That's a tough one. The album that I go back and forth between, the two albums that I go back and forth between the most when I'm driving and I just by myself, it'll either be the Paul Stanley solo album.
Excellent.
Whoa,
Side A only.
Okay.
and The Elder.
Really?
I love The Elder. So I'm at a party in Toronto a few years ago, and Bob Ezrin's there.
No,
And
nice.
they go, Russell Peters, Bob Ezrin. I go, hey, Bob. And he knows he's Canadian. I'm obviously
Yeah.
I go, Bob, I fucking love The Elder. He goes, go fuck yourself. I go, I'm serious. I'm serious. I love The Elder. Because fuck you, man. I go, I'm telling you, it's a great album.
Did he think you were fucking with him, or he just didn't want to talk about The Elder?
It's literally one of my favorite albums.
Go fuck yourself. That's awesome. I love The Elder. Tom thinks it belongs where it belongs.
I'm lukewarm on it. It's okay.
I think it's great.
If The Elder had a different album cover, I bet you if it had a Kiss album cover,
maybe
a makeup album cover, it would have done way better. But
you might be maybe
they went too conceptual with the cover more than they did with the music, because the music was pretty good.
So
some of the songs are good.
If you had like Paul on like a pirate ship sailing the seas and Gene up on a castle or something as Mr. Blackwell in this eerie photo, you think that would work?
No, you couldn't do that either. And I don't want to see a picture of Christopher Makepeace on there either.
Yeah, I know, because he was rumored. That was the rumor for the film.
The one who was supposed to be the lead, right?
That's right. Yeah, for that.
He was going to be the boy with a light in his eyes and the look of a champion, real champion.
I'm telling you, our fans are going to love this. We have so many listeners who love The Elder, so they're going to be thrilled to say that you just dropped
Listen, when I was a kid, I used to rock out to Escape from the Island.
I love that. Zeus hates instrumentals. I love Escape from the Island.
I love that one. It was because it was like it was so fucking,
Yeah.
It reminded me of a Rush. You could tell like maybe Geddy Lee wrote that because it was very Rush sounding. If you think
yes, I'm the Rush guy. Yes, yes.
Drum wise, Eric, I think still played very well on it. They do have some hard rock songs on there.
Absolutely.
What everyone pictures, it's the same thing with Dynasty. People go, oh, it's the disco album. They're here, Just a Boy, and they're like, oh, that's that shit.
Yeah, Just a Boy was a little.
Yeah.
But what was my favorite song on that? The
Oath.
The Oath. Wait, let me see. Hold on, I gotta look at my playlist here. Hold on, I got a whole Kiss playlist.
The good songs on that album are really good, but you're right, Zeus. It just gets weighed down by
Under the Rose. I love Under the Rose.
I love that.
Okay. Yep.
Because that would sound so good live.
Yeah.
Because it would be like it would have an I Still Love You kind of vibe if they did it live. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Boom, boom, bam.
Under the Rose.
It's too bad they never play any of that stuff live.
No, never.
All right. How many concerts have you seen, Kiss?
I've seen them about 4 or 5 times.
What was the first one?
First one was the Creatures of the Night tour in '82.
And what was the last one?
And then the second one was Lick It Up tour in '83.
Okay.
Wow. And then I saw them '96 in the first reunion tour.
Okay.
And then I saw Paul Stanley at the House of Blues one night solo, and I was hanging with Bob Kulick that night.
Oh, nice.
And Tommy Thayer was there, and he had onion breath, and I gave him a gum. He was nice to meet you, Tommy. And I go, oh, here's a gum, buddy.
What the fuck?
I go, your breath stinks as bad as you look in Ace's outfit.
Oh no! God, here we go.
So I'm gonna circle back to that because I want to finish the last one. And the last one is,
and then I saw them in Australia. When Motley Crue was opening for them on that tour, because
on that tour, okay,
I was on tour right behind them, so every venue they played, I was in the venue like the next night.
Okay,
so me, Eric, and Tommy met up in a hotel, and we happened to be staying in the same hotel in Brisbane, Australia, and I was at the bar getting a drink, and I look over, I go, "Holy shit, is that Eric Singer?" I go, "Hey, are you Eric Singer?" He goes, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" I go, "I'm Russell Peabody." We ended up hanging out and drinking all night and having a good time. Then me and him became pen pals on
nice.
He's actually a really nice guy.
We met Eric Singer.
Very strange.
We met Eric at the Gene event, and he's a nice guy, but a little bit of an oddball. It was also 2 o'clock. It was also 2 o'clock in the morning, so who knows?
He's got a little edge to him.
Yeah, he does. But that's okay.
He wanted to show us a cowboy midget movie on his phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just surreal. It was a surreal moment. I don't know.
Well, when they say they're shooting ropes in that one, be careful.
That's a fucking catchphrase on our show.
Throwing ropes.
Throwing ropes. Let's keep Peter North out of this. Last one. We're all going to get in trouble. Last one, Kiss Memory.
Side note, now that you mentioned Peter North, I did a movie once and the director kept every scene he would want us to do like 20 to 30 takes. I go, dude, what are you, Peter North? He goes, why do you say that? I go, because you shoot too much.
See, our listeners are going to love this. This is great. Oh my
Peter
God.
North jokes. Do you ever make a t-shirt for your hockey team, Peter North Stars?
Hello. Wait, I'll tell you another funny Peter North story. Okay, he's Canadian.
God.
As you know, he's Canadian. So
Our hero.
A friend of mine in Vancouver said, hey, man, I think Peter North lives in my building. And he goes, shut up. He goes, yeah, I'm serious. I see him in the elevator every day. And then the friend went to the guy's place and they got in the elevator. And then all of a sudden that guy walked in and my friend elbows him and goes, look, it's Peter North. And my friend goes, Peter North's eyes aren't blue.
Oh my God.
Why do you have that much attention to detail on Peter North?
To check it out his eyes. Why not? Fucking A.
God.
Last of these questions is Kiss memory. Do you have a favorite Kiss memory?
Damn, I have a lot of good Kiss memories though.
Maybe as a kid or
I remember I can clearly remember my family, because we grew up in Toronto, we would go to Buffalo all the time because it's like 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yep.
We went to Buffalo to this amusement park, a Darien Lake kind of place. And we were driving back. We stopped at the strip mall and I went to the record store and Unmasked had just come out.
Okay.
And I remember buying that Unmasked. I can remember it as clear as day, as walking in the store, seeing the record, picking it up and begging my parents to buy it for me. And I remember taking it home and being thoroughly disappointed by that album.
Thank you.
Yep. Zeus hates it. I love it.
So when people say Elder's their worst album, I go, you're out of your fucking mind. Unmasked is unbearable.
Wow. Oh, here we go.
I love it. The Paul songs are terrible.
The problem is, first of all, she's so European.
That's
she's one of a kind.
Yeah, that's a laughable song.
It is. And then Torpedo Girl, no good either.
But it's so funny. It's so bad. It's funny.
I know, but you gotta understand, I'm 10 when this comes out.
That's true. That's a good point.
And I had my Kiss, I had my Paul Stanley doll with me, and I'm like, this is an embarrassment.
Yep.
And then the poster was bad. Like the best thing was the cartoon on the front. And I used to get mad when I would see the guy going, I still say they stink.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fucking common thing. Yeah. So I Tom, did you want to pick up on where you were
saying? So my Kiss, my best Kiss memory is the first time I'm playing the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles in 2005. We have it sold out, and I didn't live here at the time yet. And my agency had invited Gene and Shannon to come to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finished the show, and Gene and Shannon walk up to me, and I'm like, oh my God, like I've never met him in my life. I'm 34 years old. I'm like, holy shit, this is Gene and Shannon. I'm like, wow. And he's like, you're a powerful and attractive man. If I were gay, perhaps I would have slept with you. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, cool. It's so great, right? And then he's talking to me, and then fans are coming up to me. Can I take a picture? And I go, sure. And they give Gene the camera.
Oh, they want to
take a picture of us? And he's like, huh? Sure. And he takes the picture, and she goes, can you take another one? He goes, yeah, would you like a coffee as well? And I'm like, this is Gene Simmons. I go, cool, can he take a picture of us? And I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Oh my God, that's great. That's great. So let's circle back to your comment about Tommy Thayer, because we talk every time we have a guest on, some people have strong opinions about the makeup. Some people don't care at all. And some people are pretty passionate about it. So you don't like Tommy Thayer wearing Spaceman? What about Eric Singer wearing the Catman, et cetera,
et cetera? I don't like Eric wearing Catman either. That doesn't look right. First of all, their head shapes are different.
Eric looks ridiculous with the Catman makeup on.
He looks ridiculous with Catman makeup. He looks ridiculous with black hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tommy looks ridiculous because they've modified the suit, and I hate the way it looks now.
Okay.
Yeah.
They tried to make it too, too sharp.
Yeah.
And that's Ace. Is Ace's look. They could have come up with something.
Yeah.
Look, if you can come up with a fucking fox, you can get out of the animal world. You can get out of the ancient Egyptian world. Just come up with something else,
Yeah, branding wise, Gene ain't touching it. He knows that the money's there.
Well, no, and it's not even called Ace and Peter anymore. It's called the Catman and the Spaceman.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
That's right. They know it.
Have you ever had an opportunity to say that to him and say, "Yeah, I don't like that Tommy wears Ace's makeup"? I'm curious.
When I was at his house that time, he goes, "Do you have kids?" And I go, "Yes, I have a daughter. She's 2.5, 3 years old at the time." He goes, "Oh, please give her these." And he gave me those Hello Kitty Kiss stuffies.
Yep.
And I go, "Ooh, Peter and Ace. No, the Spaceman and the
Exactly. It's always business.
It would be great if you're like, I don't want any of this Tommy shit. You got any Peter and Chris back stuff?
I think the funny is people that know, like, be like, "Hey, Russell, I got you a really cool Kiss gift," and it'll be like your Destroyer shirt or something, Yeah. And you could tell that it's the modified one because you could tell it's Tommy and
oh yes
on it. I look for that every time. I go, "No, this isn't it. This is fake. Get this fuck out of here."
We see that online all the time. People like Walmart or Target will make these Kiss shirts and it'll say Kiss on tour 1977 and it'll have Eric and Tommy and people are like, what the fuck is this shirt right now?
Yeah, it's
Do you find that yourself with other people that you're surprised are Kiss fans in the entertainment business?
Well, it's kind of like a secret club.
Yeah, exactly. I think people are kind of embarrassed to be adults and say they like Kiss. Seriously.
Like me and Jim Norton are talk about it. Me and Jim Florentine talk about it. Craig Gass, obviously.
Yeah.
Yep.
Craig Gass and I will always text each other anytime we see any and Earl Skakel. Do you know Earl Skakel?
Yes, yeah, we're in contact. He's friends with Courtney Cronin Dole. She's friends with him and introduced us. I think.
Yeah, so Earl and I, anytime we see anything Vinny related, we'll send it to each other.
We met Vinny last year. There was an event in Nashville, and Vinny was there. And we've said this to all of our listeners. Very, very interesting guy, pleasant. We did a meet and greet with him. We talked to him. He was but he's definitely he's needless to say, he's a little bit odd, or a lot odd.
A friend of mine, I'm not going to say who.
Okay.
Said that they had a chance to meet Vinny, and when they met, they shook, and he goes, "I have to do it." So he goes in for a hug, and he said, "I pat Vinny on the back, and I felt the bra strap."
Oh
no, no.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Welcome to the last episode.
I had to know.
Here we go.
Yeah, but so what happens. Most of the Kiss fans need him too, if you've been on the Kiss cruise. So, I mean,
we always like to say the Kiss cruise is not full of fit people.
It's not like that video they released in what was it called? Kiss Exposed?
Exposed.
One with all the porn stars on it with like, what was that, like 89 or 88?
87, 88. Yeah, they don't look like that anymore. Yeah, no. So Russell, at the beginning of your Netflix special, Almost Famous, I watched that again, and I was looking at the intro, which is awesome, that little cartoon intro. And there's a segment there that I thought was really creative about how it shows you kind of going through all the different phases of like fashion and culture. And if you watch it, because it moves pretty quickly, there's one of you in Kiss makeup and Kiss gear, and it moves pretty quickly. And I'm wondering how many people. I mean, I caught it right away because I'm a Kiss nerd, and that's how my brain works. Yeah. But I thought that was really cool that it shows you kind of growing up, like hip hop, Michael Jackson, and then it just very quickly a Kiss image. That was like your little homage to like you kind of growing up with the band, right?
Yeah, so it's because you could only show like Kiss is the only thing that would stand out for the rock world. You know what I mean? Like
right.
You just did long hair. You're like, it could be anybody. But Kiss is so specific.
Yep.
Because I was like, I was Kiss, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Iron Maiden.
Yep.
And then I discovered breakdancing, and it was all over.
Yep.
I legit remember going to the Creatures of the Night Lick It Up tour, and I'm standing there. I'm watching the concert. I'm doing this. I'm looking around. I'm like, I'm gonna get my ass beat in here, aren't I?
Popping and locking the war machine.
Popping and locking that to fucking rock and roll hell.
Well, you can do that to All Hell's Breaking Loose. You throw a little cardboard down in the middle of the set. Get down with that.
What are they eating in that? Hold on. Hey, get out of here. My dogs are trying.
That's all right.
That's okay.
Well, it was the apocalypse. They were eating like fucking turkey legs from Disney or something.
I remember that one thing they were like popping it out, like looked like cherries or something. Like,
oh yeah,
that video.
Yeah, those stupid videos are just terrible. Kiss has
never
done any good videos.
Story. I was on stage and I was doing this thing about I was just winging it one day. I'm on stage and I'm talking about masturbating, right? And I asked some guy, hey, how old were you when you started? He goes, oh, I don't know. I figured out exactly how old I was when I started masturbating because I said I had my iPod on shuffle and Kim came on, right? Love is a gun, love is a blade, right?
Yep.
Like, oh, because the music would trigger what you were doing at that time.
Okay.
What was I doing when this song came out? Oh my God, I was jerking off. This is my early, and I was like, it wasn't like I put the record on. I was like, her love is a gun, you know, like that. But I was like, oh my God. And then I did the math because that album came out in
82.
82.
But like in February or something of 82 or January, February.
I have no idea. But it's just.
It was early 82, which means I was still 11.
Okay.
So I'm like, I was 11? What kind of a degenerate child was I?
Well, are you saying you were a degenerate because you were 11, or are you saying you were a degenerate because you were jerking off to Creatures of the Night?
I was jerking. My dad had like Penthouse magazines tucked away in his closet.
Of course.
Oh, nice.
The good old days when you used to have to search for stuff.
Yeah.
Work for it.
He had it in. The worst part was he had it in a United Way bag. Remember their logo was an open hand. I'm like, not today.
Now, I'm curious. So Tom's comes from an Italian background, me Greek. I'm first generation. You. Did your I always found it like incredible that our parents would let us get Kiss albums, and especially being ethnic, being like, the fuck is this crazy shit? I don't want my kid listening to this shit. And compared to now, the helicopter parents and, oh my God, little Jimmy's listening to this. Oh my God, his poor ears. How was it like with that growing up and then getting into Kiss? They were just okay for a while, and you mentioned in a little bit in the beginning, and then picked up on what the fuck is this? I assume, and I'm like, no more, get this out.
Well, so my parents were very music, like they loved music. Mm-hmm. So growing up in our house, like they would always have music playing, and it was always like old music. It was so my dad was 16 years older than my mom, so my dad would listen to Glenn Miller and Tommy Dorsey and all that big band stuff. Mm-hmm. And then my mom was listening to rock and roll. My mom was listening to Bill Haley and the Comets, and she liked Connie Francis, and my dad liked the Platters and the Mills Brothers. So first of all, there was no Indian music ever played in my house ever.
Really?
Okay.
Not once ever. It just wasn't what we did. And Engelbert Humperdinck was like the idol in my house. Wow. So Engelbert Humperdinck, in case you don't know, is the exact same type of Indian as my family. We're called Indians. We're mixed with British.
I didn't even know he was Indian.
I didn't either.
His real name is Arnold Dorsey, and he's born in Madras, India.
Wow.
And I don't know. You tell me. Is this is a picture of him with my mom in just November? You tell me that man's not Indian.
Wow.
So you want us to make an ethnic identification?
He does. No, because he doesn't. We knew who we had. We had Engelbert Humperdinck and we had Cliff Richard. Those were our two guys. And So growing up, that was all the music that was played in the house. So when I came into my own music at 6.5, my parents were like, let's see what he's into. And then they let me get Love Gun. Then they let me get Rock and Roll Over. And then they let me get Paul Stanley's solo. I got all the solo albums, but I remember I only wanted Paul because Peter's was trash.
No, this is where we're apart.
Trash.
Okay.
So it was just Paul and Ace that had the good solo albums.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Your story's not that different from mine because my parents grew up with both of my grandfathers were professional musicians, big band, like all that kind of stuff. So growing up with all different kinds of music. And yeah, my parents I got Love Gun from my cousins who were much older than me, but flipping through records at like 5-6 years old. Then they got me double platinum. They bought me Dynasty. Dynasty came out when I was 6 years old. I was scared shitless of the cover because it had Gene with that like menacing face. I used to hide it, but I wanted to listen to it. So it's funny how Zeus brings up a good point. It's funny how like back then our parents are like, yeah, that's cool. You listen to it. Nowadays we're like, but I have to see who wrote these songs. You can't listen to this. So,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, it's
I'm
just
so lucky. My daughter's 12 and she's into Metallica.
nice.
Iron Maiden. I got her. I played her Testament. She loved it. I played her Slayer. She loved it.
Really?
Yeah. And then she's like, Dad, do you like Kiss? I go, what? Have you met? Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
And I took her, like, I showed her all this Kiss memorabilia I have. And then I bought her a Destroyer. I brought her a Love Gun lunch, a metal tin lunch.
You showed me to it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. So she's a Kiss fan.
And then she's into the Smiths and
Okay. Yeah, but that's perfect.
she's in all kinds of old stuff. She doesn't like anything new. And I'm like, this is the best.
Awesome.
Well, she's smart, really, because the music these days is nothing like the classics. That's why Kiss and other bands at Aerosmith are like 70, 80, and they're still like the big tours coming around because there's nothing new in rock that
I know, but
really
can you
attracts
watch
people.
Kiss now?
Yeah, of course.
I can't.
Yeah.
Because Paul's voice is so bad. It's just, it hurts me.
Not
I'm
even
like,
his voice,
and I'm like,
though. We know that. It's not even his voice.
I know, but even though it's not his voice, it still doesn't sound like his voice.
It's rough.
Voice, it sounds like your voice, you know.
I mean, we talk about this all the time, and I mean, if I could play devil's advocate, Paul wanted this to be over 3 years ago. Then COVID fucked it all up for everybody. So now that he's like a guy like running the mile and just trying to get through that last lap and just get to the finish line. I mean, we'll be there. I mean, we're going to be in New York City, Madison Square Garden. We're going to be at the last two shows. Do you even though you're not following this lineup of Kiss with Tommy and Eric and Paul's voice, do you think you'll be there in New York just to sign off and say, hey, this
November or something?
That's December 1st and December 2nd, the final two shows.
Like I may, you know.
Yeah, just to be there.
It just bothers me.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I feel like you're taking advantage of me, and I'm watching 50% of a cover band.
Yeah,
those are strong words. Take that back, Russell. But then again, if you'll buy a ticket, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Russell,
I want to go, and I think as we're all hoping, and we don't know what the possibilities are. What that Peter may show up and Ace may show up.
Yeah.
Shit, even Vinny could show up. I don't think they'd let Vinny on, but you know what I mean?
Probably not.
No. So
Russell,
go ahead,
let me
Zeus.
Just
get this
go
last
ahead.
one.
Go ahead.
Are you a fan of Ace still? Like, have you heard him play recently and seen him?
I have not, but I mean, it's still Ace. I'd rather hear the right guy make the wrong sound.
Oh, okay.
He makes it often.
Believe me, he makes plenty of them. So yeah.
I don't know what song this is right now, but I'm gonna try it. Who knows? I don't give a fuck.
Ow, that just shocked me. That reminds me of a song I wrote.
I think Peter wrote that one. Shocked me, but let's play it. He has fucking no clue where he's at and what he's doing.
No.
Is he back on the sauce and the drugs? He's
just got like tapioca brain.
He's a total disaster. Russell, before we let you go, I want to just pivot.
Where are we going? I'm having fun with this.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we don't want to keep it too much, so I'm glad you're having fun. But I want to ask you something that's not Kiss related. I want to ask you something comedy related. Because I haven't been lucky enough to see you live, but I've seen your shows on Netflix and Amazon. And one of the aspects of your comedy that I absolutely love, and I wish more comedians did it, is interaction with the crowd. Like fucking with the crowd, I think is amazing. The specials that I've seen, obviously when people go see Russell Peters, they know that that's part of your show and that they could be a victim of you and your comedy. Has there ever been an experience where somebody was like not into it and was like kind of like sensitive to you, you know what I mean? And because it really wasn't playing along and it kind of turned into a little bit of a scene, you know what I mean?
Well, there was, I remember one time I was doing Casino Niagara and there was an old man in the front row, really old man. And I kept saying he looked like American Gothic.
Oh.
He really did look like American Gothic.
Okay.
And he was not having it. He was like,
oh no.
I was like, come on. So I'm just messing around. He goes, fuck you. And I'm like, This guy was like, there's no way. First of all, there's no way that man's alive today because he was on death's door then. And secondly, I was like, I don't know why this old man is so shitty and bitter. Like, I was just like, why are you at my show? It's not like, it's like you bought a ticket, clearly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, I asked because I was watching the Amazon show again, and that guy that thank God, God bless me, had an incredible sense of humor. The guy that you kept saying looked like a sperm, the guy that was all dressed in white.
Yeah.
I mean, but he got it. He was in on the joke. He was laughing at himself. He was laughing at you. And I think that kind of energy makes the show that much more entertaining. And to come across a guy that's like a total stick in the mud, like that just fucks up the mojo for the whole show. So,
99% of the time you're going to get people that are in on it. And there's always going to be that 1% that's, it's not, and then you're like, oh, fuck this guy anyway. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Why do you do it? Right. I don't care. You know what I mean? I boxed for 9 years. I do jiu-jitsu for the past 8. I mean, you can lose your temper if you want, and if you want to make it ugly, you can do that too. It's up to you.
By the way, did you get your nose fixed? Because when you were talking about the fact that you didn't know the fact that you didn't know your nose was broken all those years,
still broken. I fixed it, but I trained jiu-jitsu, so you get yourself in positions where you're gonna get your nose knocked.
Yep.
Wow, that's fucking hilarious. Now, have you talked to any other have you met Paul?
I've met Paul. I was doing the George Lopez show years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
And George would have me on because I DJ and I do a lot of scratching and stuff. So he would have me set up with the band. So the band would play and I'd be scratching. And so one episode was I was jamming with the band and Paul was jamming with the band with us. And another episode I was jamming with the band, and then Sheila E. and Slash were also in the joint.
Oh, awesome.
So I had some pretty cool times, and my daughter was an infant at the time. She must have been maybe, 7 or 8 months old, and I had her with me. And I go, hey, Paul, will you take a picture holding my daughter? And he goes, yeah, sure, no problem. So
oh, my God, that's a great impression.
That's a fucking great Paul.
He's holding my daughter, and I'm standing beside him, and we're smiling. And everyone's like, Paul, Russell, Paul, here. And I'm like, and I go, and I'm just standing with my arm around him, we're holding a baby. And I go, oh, they're going to think we're a gay couple. He goes, that's what I need, more rumors.
Oh. That's so fucking great.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Jesus
Paul
Christ.
gets a lot of that shit no matter what. It was funny because the night we did the Vegas thing a couple weeks ago, it was Gene, Bruce was there, Tommy was there, Eric Singer was there. Gene had his Canadian band there. I don't know if you know Todd Kearns and those guys.
I do know. Yeah, Todd lives there.
Yeah. Todd is
Todd from
fucking
Winnipeg.
So nice. Him and Brent Fitz, the Canadian two guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we ended up talking about hockey, which I still don't understand. I get that you can like MMA and boxing. I thought you guys are all born with hockey sticks when you come out in Canada.
I grew up with, as you people would call them, the Mavrakia.
Yeah.
So I was not exposed to it as much.
So you grew up with, but you didn't grow up with PK Subban or anything like that then, I guess?
PK was in Montreal, but I am good friends with PK. I'll tell you who I did. Are you a hockey fan? Just assuming
the biggest.
Season tickets to the Bruins.
Season tickets, 20 years, everything.
You'll appreciate this, Yorgo. I grew up playing. Everybody played street hockey, just what you did as growing up there. And there was these two brothers, white Italian brothers that lived on my street, and they'd play with us. We didn't know if they weren't they were better than we were, but we didn't think anything special of them. Was Mike and Claudio Pecca.
Yeah. Pekka, remember that? Always growing up. We was big when we were like in high school and college. We were like Mike Pekka.
Mike Pekka. Yep.
Everyone used to giggle about his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Buffalo Sabre.
Yeah.
Yep.
He wasn't he the captain of the Buffalo Brewers?
Yeah, the Sabres.
Buffalo Sabres. Yep.
Yeah.
So Mike and Claudio lived, down the street from us, and they play street hockey with us.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at anybody if you live in Canada. Oh, yeah, this guy played in the NHL down the street from me. This guy
I know,
did too.
I know a bunch of the guys. Jason Spezza, I know.
Yeah.
What's his name? Toby. Not Toby. Is it Toby? No. Ty Domi.
Ty Domi. Oh, yes.
Ty Domi's a good buddy of mine. He wants to tell you ass whooping stories all day.
I'm sure he does.
Every time he tells me, and I told the fucking guy, you try that again, you're going to be eating Christmas dinner through a straw. And you know what, Russell? He ate Christmas dinner through a fucking straw.
He's big for doing when he fought the guy named Bob Probert. It was like the biggest guy out there.
Oh yeah.
The guy's a little guy. He's a little pit bull though.
And he fought him, and then like I guess he won that one fight, and he skates away from, and he does like he has like a championship belt. It's like wrestling back then in the 80s. He's got like, yeah, I'm the champion now. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, come on.
Who's your team? I guess Boston.
Oh, the Bruins. Oh, I had season tickets.
You got everybody on that hat.
Yeah, you get your original six hat on.
It's an original 6 hat. But yeah, hockey for me is huge. And we ended up getting to a long conversation about hockey with the Canadian guys up there. But everybody was at that event. The big thing that everybody was kind of, joking about is like, yeah, Paul would never fit in here with everybody being loosey goosey, laughing, drinking, having fun.
No, because at the end of the night, at the end of the dinner, everybody kind of moved over to like the open area, and it was Gene popped over, but you had Chris Jericho and his guys, his band. You had, Todd Kearns and Brent Fitz and all those guys, Bruce Kulick, Tom, everybody's just mulling around, drinking, talking, unscripted, like, and it was funny. Everybody's like, can you imagine Paul being here? And we weren't saying it. I mean, yeah, we were kind of taking a dig at him, but we were also like, it kind of sucks that Paul isn't here. Because everybody's here. Wouldn't it be cool for him to just be here and just shoot the shit with everybody? And we're like, it's just never going to happen. And
I don't understand. Like, I guess he's got an introverted personality. I guess
very much so. Yeah,
I guess that goes back to him growing up with one ear. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he thinks of himself as a Renaissance man these days. Oh, ask me about my art. Oh, check out this new wine that I'm drinking today. Oh, I bought dude, you wrote fucking Read My Body. Shut the fuck up. Like, you're not impressing us. Just
he's become the elder of himself. The Elder was the mature album. Well, he's become the elder.
Yeah.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
Definitely.
Real quick, Russell, what bands are you kind of into now? Is there anything new that you're into, or are you still listening to Metallica, Kiss, Iron Maiden?
I still listen to all that. I listen to a lot of yacht rock.
Yeah, why not? Steely Dan, baby.
It's funny because people know me as a hip hop head, but 99% of the time I'm listening to classic rock.
Well, you know what? You reminded me again. For anybody out there who has not seen Hip Hop Evolution, it's incredible. It's absolutely. I grew up on 80s hip hop. We both did. I love all that stuff. Give me some of your favorite classic hip hop bands.
I mean, the great thing for me is I'm friends with all of them.
Okay.
Wow.
So I mean. Like I had dinner last Wednesday in New York with it was Grandmaster Caz from the Cold Crush Brothers.
Yep.
Melly Mel.
Yep.
Grand Poobah.
Yep.
And Adam Richmond was there from Man vs. Food. It was a bunch of us. It was just people, but that's my usual dinner crew when I'm in New York.
That's incredible. Have you gotten out?
I was going to say,
ahead,
Tom.
No, go ahead.
You ever make it up to Boston?
I do. I usually do the Wilbur.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Wilbur's
Yes.
great. Wilbur's great.
Wilbur, and I got to do it again because the last time I was in Boston was about maybe a year and a half ago, and I did that. What's that other town outside Medford?
Medford.
That's where
Tom
from.
grew up. I grew up.
I did that little venue in Medford.
The Chevalier Theater. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so
nice.
I got to go back because I feel like we owe Boston a couple more shows.
Please, yes.
Always great audiences.
Yep.
Well, that's where a lot of the comics got. I mean, Boston is legendary from having those.
It's Boston. I say Boston and DC came with the best comics.
Yep.
Really.
Boston, DC, New York. Those three cities produced the best comics in the history of comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I'll tell you, it's legendary. We will definitely check you out when you come by in this area, obviously, and then we'll be like, no, let us through. We're Kiss fans. Come on.
Yeah, I'll get you. You can just message me. I know a guy. I can get you in.
Yeah. Would you mind if I wore like Ace makeup and he wore like Gene makeup to your show?
It'd be great. I think it would be amazing. As long as your Ace makeup doesn't look like Tommy's, we're good.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
I'm gonna come in with a Tommy Thayer shirt on.
Yeah,
Russell
Thayer, the guitar slayer.
Russell, tell all of our listeners where they can find you, what you're up to next, your website or whatever. What's going on?
So the website is russellpeters.com. My Instagram is @russellpeters. come and hang out, come find out, watch me talk shit and, follow me. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything.
Awesome.
That's really the bottom line here. By the way, I see that you have the 40th anniversary of the Creatures of the Night package behind you, George.
Yep.
And did you get the Love Gun one?
You mean
the Destroyer? The Destroyer one. They
didn't do a Love Gun one? They
didn't. They did a
a couple of years back. They did a double disc CD, but they didn't release that as as an album, right?
They did the 45th anniversary for Destroyer, the big box set. That's on the top shelf of his bookcase.
That's the one with Gene signed that one for me.
Yeah.
No, I was hoping they did a Love Gun one too.
You're not the only one. I was hoping so too. Nope. I
would love for them to do an Elder one. In all fairness, just to see what didn't make it. And what's funny as a side note as well, I remember, in around 81, 82, after The Elder came out, jonesing for another Kiss album. And I found Killers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At this record store, and it was an import. And I remember I was like, fuck, why is this one so expensive?
Yep.
And I go, what is I'm a Legend Tonight? What is this? And
Nowhere to Run.
Those were great songs.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Song.
Nowhere to Run is one of my top 5 Kiss songs. I love it.
It's one, and you're like, why the fuck I don't understand some of the moves they make where you're like, these are great songs. They need to be played. I want to hear All American Man live too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All those stuff.
And Rocket Ride, that would all be amazing to hear live.
They need a more like a fan representative.
Yeah, they do.
Tell them. And the thing that most of the time we have people on here, we're talking always about, the makeup, the new Tommy and Eric, and the other one is the set list. So that's a big grievance of most Kiss fans these days. It's the same tired set list since 2012.
Yeah, by the way, I when I was with Gene, hanging out with him in that little space of time, I asked him if Nothing to Lose was about butt sex, and he said yes.
Yeah.
You knew that, right?
Yeah, he always mentions that. He loves talking about that.
I was like, is that about? He goes, and he starts singing, yeah, it is.
Then you should have said, then play it live.
Yeah.
Great to have that.
He did in Vegas the other day. Yeah, he did that.
That's right. He did.
And he did say that.
Peter's singing at the beginning of that. No, he wasn't. Oh, it's Gene.
Gene's the beginning, and Peter. And this is why I love all the Peter tracks, like Black Diamond, Baby Driver. It's that screech. I know they shit on Peter all the time, but that screaming and shit, it's so rock and roll. It's so badass. He gave him that kick in the ass when he sings those songs.
I would also like to hear a 3-minute version of the intro to Rock Bottom.
I love that intro. I love
that intro too.
I love it. It's amazing. That's one of my favorite songs on the album because it's like 2 songs in one, which I think way back when we were doing that album review, I think they actually I think that had a name and they tagged it on to the actual part of the song that had the lyrics because the song with the lyric was too short. So they threw it on.
I would love to hear a version of that song.
Yeah. It's great.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yep.
But they won't listen to us anymore. They made their money. They ain't doing shit. But the only way you will
have to do anything they don't want to do.
Exactly.
Is Gene. Gene, when he goes on, I think once this tour is over, to see Gene and his band play, like we saw him the other day, or when he toured for a little bit a couple years back, he will throw out deep cuts. He does. His band will challenge him.
He played Charisma. He played Nothing to Lose. He played Radioactive off of his solo album.
Did he do Living in Sin?
He did not. I love that song. I love that.
Horn bass sound. Boink.
I love that.
I remember when we go to Holiday, I was like, can we stay at the Holiday Inn?
The Holiday Inn, living in exactly. Yes.
I think that's
hey, did he do When You Wish Upon a Star?
It played.
They
on loop.
Yeah,
they had music playing throughout the whole weekend.
Hilarious.
And so anywhere in the hotel you'd hear it, and When You Wish Upon a Star would constantly be on there.
It was terrible.
No one wanted to hear it.
He told the story. He told it again. I watched Pinocchio when I was a child and couldn't speak English. And I mean, God bless him. It's really endearing when he tells the story.
Jiminy Cricket taught me how to speak English.
Yeah.
I was asking him about Hungarian because he speaks Hungarian. He speaks Hebrew. He speaks a bunch of extra languages.
Oh, I asked him too when we met him afterwards. I said, hey, Gene, do you know any Greek? And he goes, Tikanis. I'm like, oh, wow, okay, I'll take it.
Honey's Malacca. Boy, he Ray.
Now give me $5.
Nah.
Yeah, that's great. You know what, Russell? We would love to have you back and do
anytime.
We do Kiss drafts.
I
Like
could
NFL drafts?
anytime. I think hopefully I proved myself to be a worthy
Absolutely.
fan.
Absolutely.
Well, you know where to come, and you're always welcome here. I mean, we are honored to have you, buddy.
Listen,
Thank
even
you.
if it's short notice, you're like, hey, somebody flaked on us. Can you do it? Hit me up. I'll do it if I can.
Love it. Thank you, Russell. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it, buddy.
I
This
can
has
do
been a
this all
blast.
fucking day, dude. I have nobody to do this with. Do you know how much of an unbottling this is for me to let this all out?
I love it.
And we
Love it.
find that is true with a lot of people. So,
Yep.
like, it's one of these things that I enjoy to find people in the entertainment business that aren't just rock musicians. They love to talk because they love Kiss. They don't have that outlet. So
Have you
we
had
have like
Sebastian on?
sports guys.
Sebastian Bach?
No,
No,
we haven't had him
no,
on, but
not
like
yet.
Jericho or things like that will come on. This is their way to talk about Kiss. Chris has got like a big pay-per-view. Right before the pay-per-view, he's texting us stupid shit about fucking Unmasked, right?
Yep.
And then you're like, what the fuck?
We've created a little safe space for all the Kiss nerds.
Yeah, because we really are nerds. There's nothing cool about a Kiss fan.
No, there isn't. No,
You'll
no,
never
he-
meet a Kiss fan and go, wow, that guy's really cool.
That guy must get a ton of ass. He's a Kiss fan.
I wonder who his favorite character is.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We're the
say
musical equipment to Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, it's true.
it's Kiss fans, Star Wars fans, and wrestling fans.
Yeah.
The three most passionate but toxic fan base because they can't just be happy with whatever's going on.
They're happy
They'll
when they're
watch it.
bitching. They're happy
They'll
when they're
watch it,
bitching.
but they'll
Yeah.
fucking bitch about everything.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Russell, thank you so much once again. We'd love to have you back, and until next time, brother. All right, Tom, what do you think?
Loved him before the interview and friggin' hilarious after. I mean, just incredible stuff. Just the personal stories and his observations as a fan. It's great. I love how he's like getting a place to geek out on Kiss, you know, and just kind of like, it's like we've created like this safe space for people that aren't known to be Kiss centric, but they're like, hey, we can go to Shout Out Loudcast and talk Kiss for an hour. He's hilarious. You guys, we talked about his specials on Netflix and Amazon. He tours all the place. You can find him on YouTube, but he's just a hilarious guy and just laughing and telling stories about Kiss. And he's not a fan of Tommy Thayer, obviously. We know that. And holy shit. Wow.
Yeah, he's got some great stories with Gene and the story of his buddy with Vinny. Like, what the fuck? We didn't know what was coming out next.
It's just so funny. He's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, and what's great is without even saying anything, he's still like, there's a reason he's like one of the biggest comics in the world.
Yep.
Easily. And then in addition to that, he could take that comedy and talk to us about Kiss. So it made it even fucking funnier for me, you know, because he doesn't put a Kiss in his act. So he's not like Craig Gass,
Right.
where you know it's coming or you're expecting some Kiss stuff. He just fucking cracked us up big time.
Yeah. It was great. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, if you see Russell, go check out his website, check out dates where he's coming to your town. He's one of the best and biggest comedians in the world for a reason. Go check him out and make sure you wear your face painted as we suggested. And I'm sure he'll get a kick out of it.
Absolutely. Yes. Again, thank you, Russell Peters. Incredible interview.
Yeah. And what we do next is we go to question of the week.
Yes, we got one from our good friend, Gary Cap, who actually signs this email, Angry Airplane Gary Cap. So he knows his name. He says, okay, here is a bizarro what-if question. Let's say Kiss performs their last show at Madison Square Garden in December, and then they part ways forever. But then Gene and Paul decide to go out on tour with their own bands. But the people playing in each of these bands are not famous people. They're all newbies. So you're not going to see Jeremy or Ryan or Phil. And you only get to go to one of these concerts. You're going to see Gene or Paul.
I'll see Gene.
Oh, I can't believe it took you that long to answer.
I'll see Gene. Yeah.
I would probably lean towards Gene, but I would be curious to see what Paul's going to do. Is Paul going to do Kiss, or is Paul going to do Soul Station, or is Paul what's Paul going to do?
Either way, you know that Paul's going to be adding effects, whereas you don't know that with Gene, and that's why.
Right.
Well, you don't expect it from Gene, so that's why I would rather see Gene. And Gene is more apt to go dig into the catalog than Paul. Yeah. So it's probably a no-brainer for most.
Plus I'm a Gene guy, so I would probably do it. Even though we saw him in Vegas, I'm a Gene guy. Anything with Gene is always going to win for me. But it's a great question. Of course, it's a great question. It comes from Angry Airplane Gary. We love you, buddy. Thank you for the question. And anybody out there who wants to be question of the week, please send us an email, a DM, whatever. We have a ton of them lined up, so fire one off, and we'll get to it eventually because we do a question of the week every week.
Yeah. So, Tom, can you tell people where they can find us?
Yes. Go to our website, best place, shoutitoutloudcast.com. That's where you can find all of our episodes, the Shout It Out Loudcast episodes, album review crew, Bullet Boys just dropped, Dorm Damage, Zepp Chronicles, all that stuff, rankings, everything's on there. You can find our links to Patreon, our links to our merch, which we're getting fixed. We know some people message us about some issues with merch. That's being taken care of, so don't worry about that. And you can also send us messages directly from there and comment on specific episodes directly there, which is always great. And we get those again in the form of an email. And speaking of email, you can use that, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. We read every single email. We say this every week. We get a lot of them, so we try to pick out a few. Sorry if we don't get to yours, but we do read each and every one of them. And, of course, social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, very active on there. Hopefully you're following us. If you're not, please start following us because we're very active on there. And as we said before, our wonderful Patreon family, including the aforementioned Daniel Peoples. Love you, buddy. Thanks for joining the party. And we're very proud to be part of the great Pantheon Podcast network of shows. So check those guys out, pantheonpodcast.com.
Yeah, I always tell people they can DM us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you subscribe and check out our YouTube page. Give us one of those 5-star child reviews on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, Spotify, Facebook, all over. Wherever you can find a review, please give us one of those 5-star reviews. We really appreciate it. And you can always reach us on our email, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. And don't forget our awesome website where you can get all rankings. You can get all our previous episode. You can check out some of our friends and the guests that we've had and go to their website. You can go to our merch. And that's now back. We had issues with Amazon. It was a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
They're fixed. We want to stick with them, but I don't know. If we have problems again, we'll probably switch from Amazon. But right now, if you go to our page and click on the merch, it'll bring you right to our Amazon store. You can buy merch there. And don't forget, you can always just go to our Amazon store and pick up items there. That helps us out. So I'll leave you guys with this. Famous last words. Tom, you go first.
Yeah, well, in honor of Russell saying that he loves music from the Elder, I'm going to go with something from this tonight, I think. I am a sinner who just loves to sin. I am a fighter who just loves to win. I am the truth about this crummy hole. There's nothing here that can't be bought or sold.
Settle down, Mr. Blackwell.
Exactly. Relax. Crummy hole.
All right. Would you like to touch? Do you want to know how good it can get? How far it can go? Ooh, let's go, let's go.
What the fuck song is that?
That's fucking Read My Body.
Oh, God almighty. I'm so glad I didn't know what song that was from. That makes me feel proud.
Russell Peters, Loudcasters, Kiss Army, Tom, thank you.
Guys, thanks so much for everything. You guys are the best. We love you. And Russell Peters, cannot thank you enough for spending time with us. It was a huge treat and an honor for us. Thank you so much. Zeus, as always, my friend, thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
I'll be looking at like an Armani shirt I hate when this happens. I'm looking at a shirt from like a high-end designer, and I flip the tag over, and I see made in India. I'm stuck with a real dilemma. I'm like, shit. Do I buy this? Or do I call my uncle?